Welcome to Build with Olamide, and in this series I'm going to be explaining the different AWS certification paths. AWS has over 13 to 14 certifications, and all the certification paths are to define which career path do you want to pick in the cloud environment. And this question is what is making a lot of beginners either run away from cloud engineering or take a wrong turn and hit a blockade. At the end of the day, you don't tend to figure out their journey anymore. They get stuck and they can either move forward or go back. Now, I'm creating this video so that for every beginner out there, you don't make that same mistake and you don't hit a blockade whereby you don't know how to navigate your path anymore in the cloud environment. So this video is for every beginners in the cloud environment, how to pick the right certification, how to go perfectly, and which of these career paths in the cloud environment fits you. Now, just like we have it in engineering, we have different engineering. We have the petroleum engineering, chemical engineering, system engineering, electrical engineering. It applies like that in the cloud environment, that we have different kind of engineers building in the cloud environment. But you need to define which of these certification paths suits you and what are your personalities and what are the requirements to go into this field. This video is going to be detailed and I'm going to be breaking down everything in details for you. Stick closer because you are going to be learning a lot from this. Now, AWS has broken the certification paths into different cadre. We have the foundational levels, we have the associates, we have the professional, and the specialty levels. Now, the foundational course is majorly for people who do not have any IT background. The first certification, which is cloud practitioner, if you're not an IT person, you don't understand anything about internet, how the internet works, you don't understand anything about storage, about servers, then you're advised to start with the cloud practitioner. So if you are probably transiting from the management, you're coming from finance, you're coming from the HR systems, you're not coming from any IT background, you are strictly advised to take the first course, which is cloud practitioner, right? Then you go to the associate level. Now, before you now pick a course in the associate level, one of the first course we even recommend for everybody in the associate level is the solution architect associate. Now, why it is very, very important is you need to know how to build in the cloud environment. Now, the solution architect teach you how to design solutions, right? To pick the right services, right? In such that you'll be thinking of the least operational tools to use to carry out or achieve that particular goals. You're going to be learning the basics behind building in the cloud environment. And that is why for everybody that goes in the cloud environment, we introduce the solution architects. Now, for people who are already in the IT field, they understand how the internet works, they understand networking and how the websites and everything works, you are advised to take the associate level, which is solution architects, the associate, because solution architect has a professional level, but we're going to talk about it when we start discussing about the career path. So it has been clear that if you are a non-IT person, you don't have any IT background, even if you're coming from medical, because medical and IT, they are not the same thing. So I'm strictly advising you to take the AWS Cloud Practitioner. As an instructor, I've seen this over and over again when people come into a DevOps engineering class and they don't understand what a server is. We used to take them back to the basics, especially if you're not even an IT person. So please do not make this mistake. An IT person goes for solution architect, a non-IT person go for the cloud practitioner. Now, let's talk about the certification part. After you got introduced to the cloud environment, you need to understand what cloud is, because the foundational class is just to teach you how or what AWS is all about, what is cloud computing. Now, after learning the basics, you need to now pick a career path. Also, as an IT person, after you understand how to build in the cloud environment with solution architects, then you need to pick a career path. Now, we have different career, and I'm going to be talking about one of the most popular ones that you see every day. We have the DevOps engineer, we have the cloud engineers, we have the solution architect, we have the AI and machine learning engineers. Now, and we also have the security engineers. Yes, these 5 fields I just talked about: DevOps, cloud engineering, security, AI, right, and cloud engineering. These fields are in demand today for every organization that have an IT system. These 5 guys, you always find them. Now, let's start with the first one, which is solution architect. Now, major reason why every organization needs a solution architect is they need somebody who can think of how to build a solution without thinking about the technical part alone. Now, as a solution architect, you really want to determine the right service that suits that particular operation. While you're picking those services, you are thinking about the architecture frameworks that we're talking about. How reliable will this solution will be? How reliable with this implementation? How is the cost implementation as well? Because you also need to think about, how can I save cost for these guys? How do I reduce the whole operational systems that's going to be going on? So you need to think about the right solution. So you're more like an architect. Now let me give you a basic example. You want to build a 3-bedroom apartment, right? You can't just give a bricklayer blocks to start modding up to build a 3-bedroom apartment. They will definitely make a mistake because they don't have a roadmap. So they need an architect, right, that will give them a diagram of how the 3-bedroom will look like. Sometimes they go ahead to model it so they can see how the house is going to look like. Then they hand it over to the builders. Now, in this concept, the solution architects are also those guys that gives you the blueprint of your solution. So if you want to build anything in the cloud environment today, you talk to the solution architects, right? Most times they are in the customer facing role. They don't do most of the technical stuff. What they do is they listen to you as a customer or as someone who needs to build a solution in the cloud environment. You tell them, I want to build this, I want to like probably deploy a 3-tier application. You tell them what the application does, probably it's a voting system. Then as you are having a conversation with them, they are documenting all the processes. This is the service that fits this operation. This is the right service that will reduce costs. This is the right service that will reduce manual works and operations. So they put in all the old well-architected frameworks into action and they build a solid blueprint. Now that is the job of a solution architect. Now you'll be asking me, does the solution architect need to learn how to build programming, or does a solution architect need to know how to write programming language? As a solution architect, you really do not need to know how to write programming language. So it's a non-technical field. All you just need to do is you're more like a project manager that brings out the blueprints of the solution and hand it over to the builder. So yes, you don't need programming language to become a solution architect. So you can also still be in the cloud environment even when you don't know how to write programming language. So let's move to the DevOps guys, right? DevOps are the people that build applications in the cloud environment. They are also responsible for fixing any system that breaks, and they also build something we call CI/CD pipelines for easy deployment, for updates, and for automations. Now, what I mean by DevOps engineering is that if you have probably used any systems like WhatsApp or something that needs an update, or probably even if it has happened to you before while you're using a website or application, all of a sudden a button shifts from right to left, is the job of a DevOps engineer to deploy updates, right, without bringing down a system. So their job is just continuous integration, whereby they give access, they build pipelines for developer to regularly push updates into the cloud environment without pulling down the whole system. So for example, after a developer has built a system in the cloud environment, right, there's a need for continuous integration, whereby there's a need for continuous updates. So they would have built a pipeline or a system for the developer to always push his code to the cloud environment with ease without having to do or fix anything. And once the person push the code from their IDE, it goes live into the internet because the DevOps engineer has created a system for integration. They also do something we call infrastructure as code, whereby they build all the systems that the solution architect has done, right? They build them with lines of code. So either using CI/CD, they either use Terraform or they use CloudFormation. So the reason why is that it will be very difficult for you to be, if you're working with about 15 to 20 services, it will be very difficult for you to be going into the environments one by one to turn on those things. So what they do is that they just write a script, and that script will turn on all the 15 services at once. So it makes deployment faster and easier, right? So that's the job of the DevOps engineer. Now to the cloud engineer, now DevOps is a technical field and you need minimum Python, right, Java, and you also need to know how to write bash script. So it's very, very important, and you should know how to you should know how to navigate your ways better in the Linux system environment. So you need programming language. It's a technical field. So if you are not somebody that likes writing programming language, don't go for DevOps engineering. It's a professional field, right? I mean, it's a more technical field, so you don't go into that field, right? So let's move to cloud engineering. Cloud engineers are more like people that manage the cloud system, and they are also developers in the cloud environment. So if you're looking for cloud developers, they are the one that build those applications as well, right? So they work hand in hand with DevOps guys. So they build the system why the DevOps create a system for them to continually deploy, right, without having issues in the cloud environment. So they build applications, they manage the systems as well. That is the job of a cloud engineer. So if you need to build in the cloud environment, and most times a DevOps engineer does those roles together. A DevOps can also build applications in the cloud environment sometimes, but in a system where it makes the job easier for everybody, right? Cloud engineer build the applications, while the DevOps engineer create a system whereby the cloud engineers can always push their codes into any environment they want to without having to like have any back and forth with any of the services. So they create a system for them, while cloud engineers are the one doing the dirty job. They build those applications, while the DevOps engineer create a platform whereby they can continually do the regular updates, continuous deployment, and all of that. So it makes it easier. So they are more like managing and building the platforms, while the DevOps engineer is giving them easy access to deploy and put things around in the cloud environment. Now let's go to the other part, which is security. Like thinking about, let's use the same building we're currently using as an example from the past, right? If you have any house you want to build today, don't remember solution architects will give us a diagram of the house, right? Now the cloud engineers and the DevOps guys will be the ones who build the house completely. Then we now have a security guard that needs to like secure the house. So they will want to check, oh, this area, let's install CCTV camera so we can monitor who comes in from the back. Let's add this kind of gate system whereby it is not easier for unauthorized access. Let's put face detection at the gates. You know, they are more like securing the environment, the building itself. So that is security engineers. So your role in the cloud environment is to secure all the systems that have been built by the DevOps and the cloud engineering guys. So as a security engineer, do you really need programming language? You really do not need programming language, but you need basics of programming. You need to know how to write a little Linux scripts. You really need to know at least minimum of little Pythons, but it's not really technical like that. So you can go into it even if you don't have strong programming language. You don't have strength in programming language. You can still do security engineering, right? So all you just need to do is monitor the system, create the best security practice in the cloud environment to make sure that the data in the cloud environment is secured. So that's the job of security engineers. So to the AI and machine learning engineers, their job is just to build AI services, because AWS has over 250 plus services. So the job of an AI and machine learning engineer is to use those AI services to build solutions in the cloud environment. Now, the technical parts in this field I've mentioned, one of the technical fields that you know that if you don't have the zeal to learn programming language, because you can still start learning this and you can start learning how to use Linux and write programming language if you have the zeal. But if you are not a technical person, you don't want to write programming language, or you don't want to, you can just stick to the solution architect or security engineering. Now, as a solution architect, there are two certifications for solution architects. There's the associate level and there's the professional level. So the minimum for you to get a junior role is the associate, but for you to get a senior architect role, you need to do the solution architect professional certification. Do you understand? And you really do not need programming language for this role. Now, for those that are builders, software engineers, just go to the cloud engineering, the DevOps engineering, and the AI and machine learning engineering field. This field is majorly for technical guys. Now, let's talk about the certification you need to take as a DevOps engineer. You need to go through minimum, let's start with the foundation, right? Cloud practitioner, you need to do the solution architect associate, you need to write your developer. Then from developer, you can write your DevOps engineering field. So the cloud practitioner is foundational, solution architect is associate, developer is also associate, then you need DevOps. Those certifications are okay for you to apply to a job, even as a senior developer or a senior DevOps engineer. Coming to a developer, you need minimum of cloud practitioner, solution architect, and developer. Now, remember that I said if you are coming from a non-IT background, that is when you should take solution architect. That's when you should take cloud practitioner. If you're already an IT person, you don't need to bother yourself about writing cloud practitioner. Just go straight to solution architects and do your developer. Then you can do other fields like Cloud Ops, yeah, I forgot to mention Cloud Ops. Cloud Ops is more like IT support in the cloud environment. So they assist in troubleshooting and fixing anything in the cloud environment. So Cloud Ops will require a technical background as well. So you might be needing some, in fact, you will need to know how to write bash scripts, how to navigate your parts in the Linux environment. So it's also a technical field. So for Cloud Ops as well, just like an IT support in the cloud environment, you need a minimum of cloud practitioner. If you're coming from a non-IT background, go to solution architect and go to Cloud Ops, right? Then for the AI and machine learning, you need the AI practitioner, which is the foundational. You need the machine learning associate. You also need your solution architect, and you need your machine learning specialty as well in the cloud environment. So these certifications are okay for you to go to the professional level. So don't forget, take it step by step from foundational to associate, then to professional. That is how you grow. Don't focus on going to specialty first. Don't do that. Or if you're coming to cloud environment, don't go to professional certifications first. You're going to get lost when you get to those professional classes, because the concept of the instructor is for you to come into the professional class, you have knowledge of foundational and associate level. So I always do minimum of an associate certification before going to a professional level. Do you get? So which other part? For solution architect, yes, cloud practitioner, solution architect associate, and solution architect professional. So with this explanation, I'm very sure that nobody after this video will make a mistake or a wrong turn in the cloud environment. Now, let me tell you something that is very interesting about AWS, and I'm very sure you're going to fall in love with AWS if you continue to stay with me on this channel. I'm planning to write the all 13 to 14 certifications. And why? Because I'm trying to gain more knowledge. I'm trying to stretch myself outside my field, right? And I want to get that golden jacket. It's very, very important. So if you're also that kind of person that even after you figured your parts, but do this, remember, do this after you figured your parts. Don't do this while you're still figuring your parts. You know, we are still new into the cloud environment, so you don't need to do this. The people that do all of this are people that have got to a professional stage. Then yes, anytime I go into any field, if I go into AI specialty now, which is like one of the senior certifications, I can understand what they're doing there because I have the basics and the professional foundational levels. Do you understand? But if you're just coming from the basic level and you now want to do, you have it in mind to do all the certifications, you feel right. So have to figure out, carve your niche first, figure out your path. Then when you've started moving well your field, they can also now decide to say, okay, I have the money, I have the time, I have the resources to chase the whole certification. And yes, AWS will recognize you and give you the golden jacket. If you have any question regarding anything I've shared so far, just drop it in the comment section. I'll write in the comment section to attend to all your questions. And do one thing for me. Don't be stingy. Share this to people. Don't gatekeep. Share this video across on different platforms. Tell your friend, tell everybody. And please don't forget to click on the notification button. Subscribe and click on the notification button. Thank you. Bye. See you in the next series.